FCDO of the Neglected Tropical Disease Division of the Federal Ministry of Health, representing the National Coordinator, Neglected Tropical Diseases, Federal Ministry of Health, in the Countdown Project, Nigeria. I'm here to introduce the participatory guide for planning mass administration of medicines. This guide has been produced by the Countdown Consortium in collaboration with the state and Federal Ministry of Health to guide us in mass administration of medicines. Our medicine distribution has not been optimal, and we are close to the targeted date for elimination. So this guide was produced to help us enhance our mass drug administration so that we can meet the global target. The guide is divided into modules. It's very easy to use. Each module has a specific color that will help you read and understand. The guide will help us to improve MAM coverage. It will also help the drug to be distributed to the poorest and the marginalized people. Module 1 introduces MAM and why it's important, why mass drug administration is important. It also serves as a guide for micro and macro planning during MAM. It also spells out the role of every stakeholder during mass administration of drugs. This will help us to have optimal results and meet the global target for elimination of NTDs.
This is module 2. These modules involve different methods. In this module, we have different methods that we use in engaging the community members. In this module, we discuss how some of the methods were being used in planning for MAM in order to increase the acceptability, accessibility, affordability, and ultimately coverage for MAM. These methods are grouped into 3. The first one is transit work, as you can see it in this module. This is the transit work. It's work through the community with the stakeholders, including the community leader, religious leader, youth leader, and women leader, to identify some of the locations and popular routes within the community that could be used in delivering MAM. The second method is social mapping. It's a process of engaging with the community member to map places within the community where different people interact or where different structures were found or exist in the community, so that those structures will be used in MAM to increase the acceptability and affordability of the people within the community. The other method, the third method, is in-depth interview and focus group. This is an interview that have been conducted after implementation to understand from the community members. In this module, it talks about planning, participatory planning. Without planning, there will not be achievement. If you can see it, there is planning here going on in this module. So planning, in this planning, it has to go with who and who should be involved in that planning. As you can see, it indicated, starting from the higher up to the lower level. Those people that are supposed to be attending the meeting, and also how to draft agenda of the meeting, and also the duration of the meeting and location of the meeting, all are found in this module. At the end of the day, we will be able to free our country, Nigeria, from neglected tropical diseases.
Module 3 is all about developing an action plan for MAM process. MAM process are of different types. MAM process is talking about training cascade, sensitization and mobilization, delivery of medicine to the community, supervision, reporting, and medicine logistics. As we can all see, this is the distribution going on in the markets, in the mosque, where people are taking their drugs in the community. It's also about training. These are the objectives of this module 3. It is about training of LNTDs, FLHLs, and CDDs. It is also about community sensitization and mobilization. It is about medicine distribution at various communities by the CDD, then supervision throughout the stages. Reporting. Reporting is very important in MAM processes, so which will enable us to know how the program is being handled in each community. Then also we have to talk about the date, which implementation is going to take up in all the communities, and also budget for all activities should be available in order for us not to have a stop at the end of before the program ends. Then how to develop a planning for training. This is it. We can see this is the objective of the section, which is also from both content, both from the rural and the urban settings in the state. We can see the stakeholders involved. These are the SNTDs, the LNTD, FLHF, and the CDDs, which is the lower level. Also, we can talk about the new method being used in the urban settings in the Ogun State. This method was used in Ijebu-Ode based on the new adaptive method that they choose in distributing the drugs. They make use of the CDD to be community mobilizers, while the FLHF is the one distributing, whereby they have a fixed post for all the community members to come out for their drugs. Also, we talk about planning for training. The training process is that they should have a very conducive environment for their training. They will have a very conducive environment, which is from both content, from the rural and the urban settings. It was mentioned. We can see this is the setting for urban settlement, while this is for rural settlement in the module. We also talk about planning, about purpose of action. We can all see in all the process of MAM, we have the process of action, we have the outcome, and we have the example of action to be taken in all content for MAM processes.
The Module 4 of the Participatory Guide for Planning ensures that the action plan developed in Module 3 is well implemented and followed through. And the first step that's been talked upon in Module 4, it's about sharing of the action plan with key stakeholders such that they'll be able to monitor and supervise activities as it relates to MAM. Also in Module 4, we want to identify the key stakeholders and share with them the action plan. Also, the LGA level team that is being constituted will help to monitor and supervise the action plan as it is in the timeline, ensuring that the deliverables are met with deadlines. Also, part of the Module 4 also talks about what has been learned after the implementation process. There is need for review. What was learned during the action plan, what worked well, what didn't work well, and recommendations that will come out from such learning process. Then, in conclusion, in Module 4, we want to have a review of what MAM entails, that's Mass Administration of Medicines, what it entails. And the review should be it is a meeting, it's a form of meeting that should hold in the state, at the LGA level and at the state level. At the end of the review meetings, recommendations that was gathered from the review meeting should be collated and in form of a communique should be shared with all relevant stakeholders, both the implementers at the state level, at the LGA level. So that at the end of the day, lessons that are learned, that are gathered from the review meeting can be used for subsequent MAP activities. The communique can be shared to the relevant stakeholders via emails, via WhatsApp groups, and via hard copies to those at the local government level too.
I hereby recommend the participatory guide for planning mass administration of medicine for every person or institution implementing mass administration of medicines in neglected tropical disease. We in the Federal Ministry of Health have been part and parcel of this project right from inception. And we've seen the results in Ogun and Kaduna State. So we highly recommend it for every implementer, partner states, the local government, the communities to adhere to this guideline. This will give us a better coverage for our mass administration of medicine.
The document, Participatory Guide for Planning, is a very effective one, it's a good one. Having gone through the pages of the document, I would like to say that it's a very effective tool that will be quite useful for implementers at all levels of planning, right from the national level to the state level to the local government level, then for the community members. Because as it is, going through the document, one will discover that there are a lot of points that either though most implementers don't take cognizance of. Even at the state level, I'll take my state for an example in Ogun State. Our planning methods initially was just what we feel the right thing to do. It was not in a structured way. It was not as if we have a strategic way of implementing, especially when we talk about funding, especially when the funds are not so much there. So whatever we have, we go out with it. But as it is, going through the document, we find out that it's well itemized, well structured. The strategies that in place for use makes it easy for anyone at any level to utilize.
I want to recommend this book and also to endorse, say that this book should be served in the state level, the local government level, the frontline health facility level, and also to the beneficiary, that is the community level, to be using in order to guide us to get successful achievement for neglected tropical diseases implementation in the state. To all the beneficiary that you serve. That's what I'm supposed to tell, but to warrant us to get a good recommendation of the activities. Thank you very much.